morning. Today I'm going to tell you a story with a moral to it and some lessons. Back in December, I had an appointment with a premier healthcare organisation, and we won't go into the ins and outs of it, but nothing to worry about. But it was when the bad weather hit, and through a various combination of circumstances, it was actually quite difficult to get to this appointment. But the company had a no cancellation policy, and you paid in full basically. You just lost it. You couldn't even rebook if you couldn't make it. And so perhaps despite my better judgment, I went ahead to make sure I was there at the appointed time. After I'd been sitting waiting for 15 minutes, somebody burst in to tell me that because of the weather, all the appointments had been cancelled. And I should have been contacted. And as you would expect, there was a conversation about compensation because they had pretty strict rules in their terms and conditions about my failure to turn up. So in due time, a new appointment was booked, and frankly, their booking system was not great, and it took really quite a lot of effort to get the correct rebooking, and that was booked for last week. Incidentally, it took about 2.5 months to get the refund, the actual financial compensation paid as well. So I arrived at the appointment 10 minutes early to be sure that all was well. I'd received an email the day before reminding me about my appointment and where it was and when it was. And after I'd been sitting waiting 10 minutes past the appointed hour, I went to the reception again and said, nobody's come through to get me. Can you remind them, please? And 15 minutes after the allotted time, somebody appeared to take me through and very quickly told me in a corridor that the appointment had been cancelled. And if I'm really honest, I then proceeded through a process which was almost insulting, suggesting that I hadn't read the email properly, and the email had been telling me it was cancelled, not that it was reminding me the appointment existed. And I was made to get the email out to prove that it said what I told her that it said. So funnily enough, I then proceeded to the manager, and as you would expect, we are now in the process of reorganising everything, and we will be going through a discussion about compensation once again. Now, my question is about customer feedback. I gave good quality, detailed customer feedback about my poor journey through this organisation. Clearly, absolutely nothing has been done about that. That was gold dust. If I've had a bad experience, I'm pretty clear that it isn't unusual for this to happen. I already know a number of things that are flawed within their system. That's because of my experience and background. Fact of the matter is that some of the most valuable feedback we can have is when things go wrong. I worked for years for the John Lewis Partnership, and I make no bones about mentioning them because they put a lot of effort into making sure that they understood and rectified things when they did go wrong. They were philosophical about the fact that things do go wrong sometimes, and that's okay, but they made sure that they put effort into that not happening again. So I ask you today to think about your business and think about customer journey, but also about how do you react when things go wrong, and what's the customer experience when that happens. Because for me, that defines the quality of organisation that you are.